Welcome to ChristiTutionalist Politics Podcast, aka CTP. I am your host, Joseph M. Lenard, and that's Lenard. CTP is your no muss, no fuss, just me, you, and an occasional guest type podcast. Really appreciate you tuning in. As Graham Norton would say, let's get on with the show! Hello, everyone. A brief special intro to this week's show. You know, Saturdays I normally have on monologues that are in conjunction with a written article at thelibertybeacon.com. Well, we're working through some issues. So today's show, as well as an occasional other Saturday show here and there, may not be a monologue in conjunction with thelibertybeacon.com as I work to sync and coordinate, juggle before it's news.com, thelibertybeacon.com, as well as now introducing Substack as an outlet for my articles, needing to try to coordinate and sync them all together, and some Saturdays that may or may not happen. So instead, I'm going to get what would normally be a Wednesday guest appearance drop. So just a brief intro to let you know what's going on. Hello, everyone. Welcome to CTP. Yeah, just using the abbreviation. Season 2, episode 89. Hold up my crumpled notes here. It's going to be about movies and politics. I joked about what would be an online article version, part number 592. Just kidding. But seriously, about movies and, you know, politics or whatever that might interject there. And yes, Christianity. We'll get to that. But first, I recently saw that the movie The Substance in the horror genre has got an Oscar nomination, I guess, supposedly. I've not seen the movie. It's on my list of things to see. I just haven't seen it yet. Obviously not in. Actually, it could still be in theaters. And now that it's got an Oscar nomination, it'll probably roll back into theaters again. So look for it again at movie theaters. I like the concept. I like the formula. Well, I don't want to say formula, but the plot of the overall script concept. And I'm interested in it. And during the video segment, I also saw they showed not Hugh Jackman. Oh boy, I could picture his face in my head. That was, what was he in? He played the little munchkin in the Wonka, the Oompa Loompa that people were upset about, because indeed, why didn't they actually get a height-challenged individual? Not Hugh Jackman, not, I think you know who I mean. I hope you know who I mean. He had the movie out, The Heretic. They showed him. I don't know if that's up for any award or not. I wouldn't quite call that in the horror genre, but more a thriller. And this movie, oh my God, I cannot talk again. This show, of course, dealing in faith and politics. Heretic, you might think me say, oh God, don't see that movie. But I saw that movie. It was a very good movie. Now, there are things in it I don't like, but I like the way they thought to try to bring questions. Because if you look in my videos or my shows, the listener feedback, the last one from when I was on PJ Media with Trudy Bierman, reactions I got to being on her show and about self-reflection, as I said there, the only people that should fear question. Oh, excuse me, I had to burp there. Apologies. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Had pizza and garlic bread for dinner. Had the garlic bread there. Apologies. Hey, right? No muss, no fuss. This is me and you. Not blanking it out, not hitting restart, just going on. At any rate, heretic. You would think I would tell you to not see that. And again, self-reflection is where I was going. The only people that really should fear questions are those who know deep down the answers wouldn't be too convenient for them, right? If you can't look in your mirror and ask, are you living up to your own standards? Are you living up to biblical standards? We are all human, frail, flawed, and may fall down at times, but are you at least trying? But heretic raises a lot of questions, makes a lot of valid, factual-based points, and of course, a whole lot of fiction too, but there is some reality based in some of the questions asked there, and you should only be afraid of the questions if you fear the answers. That film is about questioning faith, but in the end, the female leads in it, or the one that, well, spoiler alert, the one that survives. All right. I didn't give too big a spoiler. You should still see Heretic. It's really well done, but the one that survives has more faith than ever. I want to pray for you, the non-believer, and what good does it do? And well, what harm does it do? If I'm right, you have everything to gain. If you're right, I've really had nothing to lose. At any rate, those weren't the movies I was going to talk to you about. But since it popped up on the TV, I figured I'd mention it. I was going to mention Bonhoeffer. Very good film from Angel Studios, a Christian studio. Very good film. There are some people questioning some of the facts in it, based on true story, obviously. But Blitz came out a while back. I left, to be honest, after the first 25 minutes. I didn't think it was a very good film. It wasn't presenting well to me, but it's an important film about history and aspects of World War II people didn't know or people have forgotten. So Blitz, maybe put it on your list to watch. Don't let it affect your desire to watch or not, because I said I left in the first 20 minutes. Heretic, I had written down. See? Actually wrote that one written. Can't talk. I actually wrote that one down to mention. Also, long gone from the theaters. Very good movie, whether you are of faith or not. Best Christmas pageant ever. From a Christian studio also, and starring, I'm having such a brain fart day today. I can't think of her name, but she was also in the Christian film Mom's Night Out. Absolutely loved that movie. And one of my favorite Christian films, you may have heard me mention before, is The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. Now, I know there's people freaking out. You can't use that word. It's a figurative, not a literal resurrection. People, please, can we calm down? The Resurrection of Gavin Stone is great about a wayward man does community service at a church and finds God in the process, finds Jesus in the process. It's a lot of comedy in it. We as Christians got to stop being so uptight all the time. And Mom's Night Out, very funny film. Trace Adkins was in it too. Very great film. search for that on streaming. At the same time, you should be able to see also now on pay-per-view or streaming services, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, a comedy with a very serious ending about the Hermans, the wild children of the neighborhood who, unruly, ungodly, come and take over the Christmas play, and in the process, teach everyone the real meaning of Christ and Christmas. In the process, great film. But I mainly said all that. I didn't know what time I started, so I don't know how many minutes I'm already in. But I mainly said all that to say this. I recently rewatched the Jim Carrey, at least thankfully his name is coming to my mind, film, Bruce Almighty. All right, again, another comedy. Morgan Freeman was also in it. Very funny, very silly, very stupid in a way, but very important points in it. And the follow-up film was Steve Carell, who was indeed in the first Bruce Almighty. They spun off to Evan Almighty and a modern Noah tale with important reference to, spoiler alert, but not ruining the film by sharing it, God asking Evan to build an ark, even though he said he would never flood the earth again. And the very important point and purpose of this movie, you figure out ARK, also stands for Acts of Random Kindness. Build our own ark of acts of random kindness to make the world a better place, to save this fallen planet. You don't see, those films are both like 25, 30 years old now. I was going to say you don't see films like that, but then again, Best Christmas Pageant Ever just came out last year around Christmas time. So there are places still making good movies. Holly Weird, Pedo Wood, mainly doing woke garbage now. I'm hoping we could get a day back where films like a Bruce Almighty and an Evan Almighty that some might get upset and see as a bit sacrilegious. I don't. I think they have positive moral, religious implications to them if you're willing to see it, if you're not going to get all left-wing, emotional, hysteric, snowflakey about it. See them, then judge, not judge just based on the title and what you hear about them, even what you hear about them from me, right? Look for yourself, research for yourself, judge for yourself, because Matthew 7 is condemn not lest ye be condemned. There are multiple scriptures on that we are to judge and judge biblically. So judge as you should for yourself based on biblical principles. I could go on and on, but I'm going to just wrap it up here. I appreciate you coming by. I hope you will check out most of the movies, at least, that I mentioned here in the show. And, if the article on it or on the YouTube or the Rumble, BitChute, Brighteon, Daily Motion out of France, if you're seeing the behind-the-scenes video, make a comment on the video. Make a comment on the articles. In the official show notes through Buzzsprout where the show is, and hopefully everywhere else is showing up, there's a send us a text message link. Reach out. Let me know your thoughts. What movies should I have talked about that I didn't? And like the Dan Brown ones. Conclave. Yeah, I had to mention. Past Conclave. If the Catholic nuns were going to protest anything, they should have protested and asked for boycott of Conclave. It's up for a bunch of awards because why? Left-wing anti-Christian Hollywood likes that it's an attack on Christian, mainly the Catholic Church, but really all Christianity. Unlike the Dan Brown movies and books that nuns were actually protesting outside the MJR theater by me when I went and saw those movies. And they're great movies. With Tom Hanks, right? They actually raise questions. There's part fact in it, part fiction. But you shouldn't fear the questions unless if you're afraid of the answers. And a lot of people walked away from the Dan Brown books and the Dan Brown movies with what? More questions. What of this is fact and fiction? And opened a Bible. Some of them for the first time. Some of them for God only knows how long they'd been away from it, that they needed to go back to it. So Dan Brown brought people to the church, Christianity, in my opinion, and to Jesus, whereas Conclave is a complete waste, just an attack, just the usual assault, which is not to say there aren't great actors. I love Stanley Tucci. He was in it. I can picture people in my head that are in it. Right, Ralph Fiennes, right? Lithgow, John Lithgow, right? I think's in that. Fantastically acted, but did they read the script or did they only sign up for the big paycheck? Are they desperate for the paycheck that they signed up for that, or are they anti-Christian? I don't know. I can't answer that question. Certainly never going to get them on this show to answer that question. Because again, the only people that should fear questions are those who don't have good answers to them. Okay. Thank you all. Take care. God bless. Thank you for having tuned in for ChristiTutionalist Politics show. If you haven't already, please check out my primary internationally available book, Terror Strikes, coming soon to a city near you. Available anywhere books are sold. If you have locally run bookstores still near you, they can order it for you. And let me remind, over time, the fancy high production items will come. But for now, for starters, it's just you as a very appreciated listener by me. All substance, no fluff, just straight to key discussion points. A show that looks at a variety of topics, mostly politics, through a Christian U.S. constitutionalist lens. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Take care. God bless. Like and subscribe to ChristiTutionalist Politics podcast and share episodes. We need your help.